Oneness doesn't need this to change because oneness is love. We are love. We are the foundation for resistance to express. So here's this will be the last question for today. Thank you, everyone who showed up and participated. So oneness is the sensation too, and oneness is resisting itself as an experience. Yeah, I mean, there's no other option. Yep. Yep. I mean, so it's a both and thing, right? So from one way of looking at it, oneness isn't resisting anything because oneness is the welcoming of all that's arising, right? Oneness is this. And so, given that there's only oneness, there's nothing outside of oneness to resist oneness, right? Given even the appearance of resistance is, the embrace of oneness appearing that way. From one perspective, even the appearance of resistance is oneness too, and we can say that that's oneness resisting, or really oneness appearing as resistance is a more skillful and accurate phrase, a way to hold and explore the experience. But at the same time, to kind of encourage this standing as awareness, right? Encourage standing as awakeness, oneness, in order to encourage this, claiming of true nature and living from that. It's useful to see that what's resisting is, the character patterns. What's resisting is Bo-ness or Johnness, Karenness, right? It is the character. The egoic activity is what's resisting what is reality. And that's what makes it seem like there's separation, because there's this resistance, and then, what is appearing as the resistance. So it's always this back and forth, right? It's never, it's this way or that way. So the mind is what's resisting. Egoic activity is what's resisting. And it's useful to see it that way so that we recognize that resistance is not ours. It's not about us. We're not the ones resisting. We're not the ones that need to resist. It's the egoic activity that's resisting. And the more that we believe in the story of resistance, the more that we believe it's ours, the more and more resistance is going to arise and perpetuate itself. And so it's useful to view it that way, as resistance is other than what we are, because I can recognize it as something that isn't me, isn't mine. But at the same time, part of what is perpetuating resistance is this insistence that it is other, is this rejection, which rejection is what resistance is, based on. But if we're resisting resistance, then we're just further perpetuating the story of separation. So often, For example, if there's a lot of anger or fear, anxiety, often the somatic solution, the way of navigating that experience, is meeting the experience with compassion, because it's inclusive. It's not pushing away resistance and making it bad or other or the enemy. It's inviting this softening. When we're exploring our experience and we notice this softening, that's what's happening. These dissonant textures, return to where they've never left. Right? It's this loving embrace of inclusive. Um, the the process of freeing ourselves, so to speak, from identity is an integrative. It's this play of integrative and disintegrative movements. But there's this idea of, if there's resistance, if there's an identity, if there's, a character pattern arising, that I need to push it away. It needs to go away. This needs to change. This is uncomfortable. I don't need it here. This isn't true. It needs to go away. I need to kill the ego. When really we need to love it. And loving doesn't require belief. But it does require surrendering to this as it is. Not needing this to be different. Because that's a truer quality of oneness. Oneness doesn't need this to change. Because oneness is love. We are love. And so because we are love, we're able to hold, accept resistance. We are the foundation for resistance to express. And so it's okay. Once we start meeting aspects of ourselves with love, while simultaneously, meeting it with this skillful wisdom of not me. I'm not that. We're able to soften it. It just wants our attention. It just wants to be seen for what it is, not for what we believe it to be. It just wants to express. And it's because we've insisted, from misidentifying with the mind, that it's a mistake, that it's wrong, that it shouldn't be here. It's that, lifelong position, way of relating to ourself, as this that's that's made the resistance so painful. Resistance is painful for a reason, so that we can listen to what it has to say, but not, not in words. Just to hold it in our attention, to give it space, allow it to express without overlaying it with the story of self to try to protect ourselves from it. That's not something we need. We don't need to believe in the story of Bo or Janice to separate ourselves from resistance, from life. That's the ego's need, that's the story's need so that it can live on. But it's not our need. So I've gone on and don't really know what came through, but I hope it was hope it was helpful. Um, yeah, either way, it's been a joy. So thank you, everyone.